Welcome to Keeping It Real with KC. I am your host, KC Phoenix. This is the second episode this weekend. As promised, the previous episode was an entertainment episode. I did a movie recommendation. If you didn't check out that episode, don't forget to check it out. I had fun discussing what one of my favorite movies is, and I threw a little bit of extra in there as well. But you have to check out the episode to know what I discussed. So, housekeeping, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting website, KIRWKC Twitter, KIRWKC Instagram, KIRWKC on Facebook, facebook.com/KIRWKC. YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you click the subscribe button, don't forget to click the notification bell. That way you know when I upload an episode. Anyways, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad I made it. Okay. Now that I've done my entertainment episode previously with the movie recommendation, I'm doing a lifestyle episode. And I know people looked at it and was like, wait, what? I thought you were talking about time traveling. No. Time traveling from a mathematical level, I guess, scientific level, is possible in theory. At least that's what my math teacher or professor has said a long time ago. That is, in theory, it's possible to go back to the past, but you can't go to the future. And then, of course, you hear the stories that there are time travelers that live among us. But if they did, how would we know? I'm taking all of that and I'm moving that off the table. And we're just going to go with what we currently know for right now. Even though UFOs have been spotted, I'm sure you know about the UFOs because the Department of Defense released the footage on unidentified flying objects. That's a whole nother type of show. When it comes to time travel, you are not a time traveler. And for those listening or watching this, I know you're like, okay, why are you telling me this? I'm telling you that you're not a time traveler because people seem to dwell on the past sometimes. Whether it was something that they did in their past, or whether it was something that somebody did to them, or whatever, something in the past. You're not a time traveler. Dwelling on the past doesn't fix the present. It doesn't fix anything in the future. The only thing you can do is learn from whatever happened. That's all you can do. And anything that happens is for the purpose of you learning. That is the purpose of being battle tested. See my episode, Battle Tested. You have to have certain experiences in life to learn. Dwelling on, oh, well, if I had the chance, I would have done that differently. Or, oh, I really messed that up. Or, wow, I wish they would have done this, or I wish they would have done that. Why carry that energy around with you? It's in the past. There isn't anything that can be done about it. It's gone. It is gone. That energy has moved on to something else now. You're not a time traveler. Today is August the 22nd. I'm looking down at my laptop. Today is August the 22nd, 5 minutes after 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm looking at my clock. When it hits 6 minutes after 12 Pacific Standard Time on August the 22nd of 2020, guess what? 5 minutes after 12, I can't go back to it. So whatever happened during 5 minutes after 12, that's it. I can't go back to it. So there is no need for me to dwell on it. If something happened to you a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, and so on and so on and so on, there isn't anything you can do about it. You are not a time traveler. The best thing you can do is let the energy go. The energy has moved on. As I said before, time does not stop. No matter what happens in life, one thing is a constant. Time keeps moving forward. It never moves back. And right now, it's 6 minutes after 12. So on August 22nd, 2020, Pacific Standard Time, here in Los Angeles. So 5 minutes after 12 is gone. It's over with. It's done. I can focus on this moment right now, and I can focus on, oh, well, I plan on eating lunch at 2 o'clock in the future. Should the universe be kind enough to grant me that time? Because nothing is guaranteed. See, my daily thought on people taking too many things for granted. So I don't take time itself. I don't take life or anything for granted, because I may not make it to 2 o'clock. Hopefully I will. That way I can do more shows and episodes. But you get my point. I can only focus on the present and the future. I can't focus on the past because I can't change it. Now, when time travel becomes a legitimate thing, or if there's some new discovery, like we just discovered that UFOs exist, even though we kind of knew UFOs exist, but these are minor details, then we can say, all right, let's look back to see what we can do to alter the past. But then again, if you alter the past, you may change things in the future. I'm sure you've heard of the butterfly effect. Even though they say in some movies, if you alter the past, it doesn't necessarily change it. It just changes that timeline and all that stuff. Let me add another thing while it's on my mind. When I talk about battle tested, if let's just say that you could time travel and you could go back and redo a situation that was what you, notice I said, what you consider bad. If you could redo the entire situation, if the entire situation was redone, would you have learned anything from it? Because whatever happened during that cycle, that test, you wouldn't have learned anything because you would have went back and altered the answers on the test. So the growth that you should have accomplished from taking that test, you wouldn't be able to because you've already altered the answers and the questions on the test. It doesn't do you any good, so you wouldn't be able to grow. You'd be stuck. You have to be battle tested, and I will always bring that up. And I will always say comfort and growth are not friends. There are things that happen in our lives that are just crazy. Like for me, I believe I mentioned this before. I've been dealing with mono, which I'm pretty much over it, but it's a long journey. It's not something that you get over in a month or two if you've ever had mono. And yeah, it would be nice to go back in time and go to the moment where I acquired it. Side note, don't share food with anybody. But due to me having it and going through all the things that I've been through over these past few months, it's changed how I look at things on a physical level, on a mental level, on a spiritual level, just on so many levels. It changed the way I look at things. But if I could travel in time and go back and redo everything, I wouldn't have learned the lesson that I learned due to that bad experience that I'm still recovering from this day. Same thing with bad relationships. If I remember on the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman, when she met, what is his name? The one who Shamar Moore played. I've seen that movie literally over 200 times because I own that too. Long story short, she had said she was so glad that she was married to Charles and then met the person she was with, because if she wouldn't have met a bad man or been married to a bad man, she wouldn't have known what a good man is. Her experience with Charles let her know this is a bad man. This is the type of personality that you don't want to be in a relationship with. And then when she met Orlando, that's his name, Orlando, had to think, came to me right there. All right. When she met Orlando, she could see the stark difference between how Charles treated her when she was married to Charles and how Orlando treated her when she was dating Orlando. If she was a time traveler, could go back and just redo everything where she never met Charles and she just only met a good man, she wouldn't know how good it could really be or how good she would actually have it. It would be more taken for granted because that experience in her life wouldn't be there. There's a reason that you go through things. And as I mentioned before, on knowing when to bow out on my daily thought, which was, I believe was my daily thought yesterday, as a matter of fact. One of the things with knowing when to bow out, you have to know your worth. You have to know your worth. As long as you know your worth, you shouldn't be focused on the past. You should only be focused on the present and on the future, regardless of what type of situation has come across. It could have been romantic, it could have been family, it could have been work, it could have been financial, it could have been whatever. As long as you know your worth, you should only be focused on the present and the future. You're not a time traveler. You can't go back to the past and fix things. Focus on what you can fix right now. There are plenty of things in the present that you can fix right now. There are plenty of things in the future you can attempt to plan for, because even when we plan, things don't always go as planned. But you can lay out a rough draft of a blueprint. to make things a little bit easier. But from your past, you have to gather these experiences. They're for a reason. Everything is for a reason. And another thing from that I mentioned from my daily thought on knowing when to bow out is that you will not be in a constant cycle of pain. Cycles are not meant to be constantly painful. They're not. You won't be in a constant cycle of pain your entire life. I don't believe that. I know it's not possible where you're constantly in pain. Life was not meant for you to be constantly in pain. So whatever you're dwelling on, whatever you're thinking about that is already past, leave it there because that energy has already moved on. As I said, time keeps moving forward. You need to let it go and move forward as well. And that's all I got. So thank you for listening. I appreciate you more than you know. Those who watch, I appreciate you as well. But it seems I have more listeners than watchers, which is kind of interesting. But I'll take either or. It doesn't matter. I'll take both. I'm fine with it. I'm going to do my podcast only episode. And then that will be it for the episodes today for Keeping It Real with KC. Of course, KIRWKC.com, KIRWKC on Facebook, which facebook.com/KIRWKC, Instagram, Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, Daily Motion if you want. And if you do watch the movie recommendations that I mentioned in my previous episode, let me know if you like the movies too. I know that wasn't for this episode, but yeah, let me know. And yeah, that's all I got. Be blessed.